Well, we've kept that nameless king waiting long enough. Let's get moving. We'll slow things down once we get to the ruined castle. It's not like I expect the random encounters in the overworld to be all that interesting to look at after all the random encounters we've gone through so far in this game. Seriously, just how many wolves, goblins, and ogres have we killed in the previous 8 clips? How many more will we have to kill before we absolutely finish with the Marsh Cave and can move on to another landmass on this planet? I don't know if this version of the game has some means of counting how many enemies we've taken down, but when I got to around this point in the Pixel Remaster, where I'm not sure if I was faster or slower, I had already taken out around 500 hostiles and gained an achievement. Not that I really give that much of a damn about achievements. I'm a bit of an old-fashioned gamer that way. It just felt like an interesting tidbit as I'm just killing time along with random monsters. Not too sure why he wants this crown, since it looks like he was already wearing one. Trap, sir? Ah, good of you to finally introduce yourself. I believe you need to answer for putting the Elven Prince into a several-year-long coma. I get that he had a magical disguise and all, but why did he have to get that damn ugly when he took it off? Oh, and you have Montoya's Crystal Eye, huh? That's one less thing for us to have to search for. Though I would have preferred to have gained the Mystic Key, so we could grab some supplies from the not-so-ruined castles, as well as finish off the Marsh Cave. Dear God, his sprite just makes me think he's kind of like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, or something similar to that. Just unhealthily thin and deformed from all the bullshittery he's done over the centuries. By the way, if he's the Dark Elf King, why do we never see any other Dark Elves in this game? Well, Blizzard is doing a respectable amount of damage to him. I can't tell if he's weak to it, but I see no reason to check the other 2 elements we have at the moment. At the very least, it's nice to see that 3 of our 4 party members are hitting the bastard at around the same amount of damage. Though it's a bit of a shame that Morn isn't actually doing anything for offense. But to be fair, she's the medic of the team, so that's not really what she came here for. Huh. I was somehow expecting that to last a few more turns at the very least. This is the PSP version. They did up the health for these guys. Ah, well, we've officially beaten a major encounter. I should probably consider Carland and the Mind Flayers and the Caves to be boss fights as well, but there's just something missing. Maybe it's just how old this game is or something. But they are missing that little bit of presentation that really would help it feel like a boss fight. Ah, well. I guess it's time to get back to our boat and get this Ida. Who needs it? It's not like we've got anything else we can do at the moment with what we've got. Hell, even if there were some locked rooms in this castle, it's not like we'll be able to unlock them. One of many reasons I didn't bother putting a thief on our team. Sure, it's a very good physical combat class, and in most playthroughs of the game, I have a rogue in the slot where we've got Tyson here. But it's not like thieves in this game can pick magical locks or something, so the name doesn't really fit. And considering the sheer amount of money we're going to spend on warrior equipment for both mages and all those spells, having a monk on the team in this is a nice bit of rest for our wallet. It's kind of funny how money tends to work in role-player games. You're either swimming in cash, or you're borderline broke. There is no real middle ground where you're kinda comfortable but not actually rich. That's kind of an issue in pretty much the entire genre, no matter what country made the game. Some games like Pokemon try to limit your income to help keep things interesting in that regard. Others, like Suikoden, find ways to have you spend and gain money outside of strictly battles or finding chests in various dungeons and towns. But really, I can't think of any role-player games where the economy feels especially well made. Not that I'm an expert on that sort of thing. It's just something that went through my mind as we're going through things here, as usual. Really? We're not allowed to board the ship unless we walk across the white tiles. Sure, it's not that big of an issue, but still a little annoying since we were just 1 pixel away from it. I can understand only letting us land at those spots, but if the ground is close enough, we should be able to board our ship from any angle. Anyway, I've managed to get the minigame working, for whatever that's worth. Since it's a hidden minigame that doesn't go out of its way to tell you what you need to do in order to start it, they didn't bother giving you any kind of tutorial for it. You have to get the numbers into the right order, so it's all at 1 to 15 in a pretty steady line. If you do it fast enough in the PSP or original versions, you get some rewards like money. But in the Pixel Remaster, you really don't get any reward for beating this game with any kind of set of time. You just get an achievement for activating the minigame at all. Though for some reason, the trigger for the achievement only comes after you go through a battle just after going through it. A little odd. Why remove the rewards for beating it? Not that I'm in any way seriously trying to beat the minigame. I just figured it was worth showing since it's not like I had to go out of my way to activate it. While this game does have side quests in some sense, it's nowhere near as extensive and interesting as side quests in a lot of other role-player games. It's mostly things along the lines of grab this specific item and head to this specific spot to gain this reward. They're in no way different from regular quests around here, which are, again, bare bones as hell. It's just that you can't get a helpful little prompt from the dancing girl in Cornelia what your next goal should be when it comes to that side stuff. As a side note, I'm honestly a little surprised that a game this old has a little system in place in case you put the game down for a while and need a reminder of what you need to be doing right now. There are a good number of games after this one was released that didn't do even this minimal amount. Not too sure why I was expecting anyone's dialogue other than the dancers to change. Oh well, time to start moving towards the currently blind girl and give her her eye. Really have to wonder how long we're gonna keep on fighting against goblins in this game now. They were just one-hit kills for us when we were in the first clip before we did any leveling up. And we're now pretty well leveled up at this point. Yeah, we're delivering 90 damage, and these guys are down even after just 9. Though I suppose the physical attacks of the magicians is understandably lagging behind the physical attack of the actually physically focused fighters. Kind of nice to have some enemies that we don't have to bother using any magic against as we run across the world, but then sometimes I'll just not bother to use magic even when the mages are doing absolute garbage against these guys, just to save some MP for later. Well, we've made it to our cave again. I kind of wish there was more for us to do here other than just steal a few things from her hider boxes and give her her eye back. But once we're done with this, there is no reason to ever come back here again. Just like there's no real reason to go back to Pravoka, as far as I know. With this potion, we can wake up the Elf Prince. Definitely gonna be a bit of a trek going all the way back, but that's what the fast forward button is for. Yeesh! Not sure what I was expecting her to say, but I didn't see her being so dismissive of us. And lady, there's not really much point in complaining about how people look when the graphics are this basic. Sure, it's still an improvement over the even more basic sprite work from the absolutely original release of the game, but still, the series became rather famous for its CGI cutscenes, especially from 7 onwards. So I'm kind of planning on doing most, if not all, of the 2D games before we get to Final Fantasy VII. Though honestly, I have a lot more experience with 7 and 9 than any of the others. They just drew me in more when I was growing up, so they've got a special place in my heart. Though I suppose with the sheer number of Final Fantasy VII sub-releases, it kinda lessened my interest in 7 as a whole, from Crisis Core to Dirge of Cerberus to the 3-part remake. And while part of me kinda likes that we get to go through that world some more, considering how much potential Final Fantasy VIII had, but they couldn't quite manage to pull off, I can't help feeling it needed more love and care to expand on things than the already very popular 7. Hell, 8 is an awkward beast in that I wanted to like it, but the junction system, the lack of character development for anyone who isn't the absolute central character, and the seemingly rushed world building just don't let it have the impact it should have. But enough of that for now. We have a prince to wake up. Is there a reason we needed a fade to white when it's not like anything visually changed after the fade? No, my lord. I believe you can start writing down what your nightmare was now, just in case it turns out to be something important. And with the Mystic Key, we can gain some important stuff that's just sitting around waiting for us to grab and use. And, that will help us get to the next major location. I don't suppose your undying gratitude means you're gonna offer any kind of support for us, does it? Saving the world is a bit of a rough task to go through, and any help that makes it easier to achieve that destiny is appreciated. Though I suppose it's asking for too much, for them to give us more than just the key we were just handed. Let's find the door in this place that the key can open, grab the chest sitting in this particular castle. Then it's a bit of a coin toss if we go back to the Marsh Cave to go to the bare few rooms we haven't already explored down there, or if we head back to Cornelia to open the chests that are waiting back there. It's not like we have to do them in any particular order. Both areas are open to us right now, after all. You've already given the key. Is there any other task you elves can do to help fight against the encroaching darkness and all that? Okay, apparently it's a bit out of the way to get to the room that the key can, open in this place. I wouldn't quite say it's hidden. Final Fantasy IV will hide things to an obscene degree. It's just a bit less intuitive to find than a lot of the other things in this game, especially since if we walk past an invisible line to the right, we will leave the castle altogether. Right. Some money, a pair of gloves that only one of us can wear, and a hammer that only one of us can use. Not exactly an especially epic storeroom, but hey, take what you can get, especially since the two items we grabbed are indeed upgrades compared to what we have right now. No way in hell I'm lowering Boromir's defense that much to gain 22 points of evasion. He is the tank of our team, for whatever that's worth. Yeah, the nunchucks are still useful. Not really sure if I'm looking forward to when they aren't anymore. So, we left the castle by traveling north, but on the overworld we're at the south entrance. Not really annoying, since I was planning on selling some stuff in the town, but still, when there's more than one way to exit a place, I kind of like to see the game acknowledge that we left from that direction. Does that count as something you would consider immersion? Because I can't help feeling that immersion is a little ridiculous to think about in a game that's so old that it's completely acceptable not to have any character interactions at all. Anyway, this should about do it for this clip. We just need to rest at the end save and then decide where we're going next.